Hi, thank you for joining Roll4Change. Today's stream, we're benefiting Girls Inc., and we're celebrating Women in Tabletop RPG Month. I'm Misha B. You may know me from Black Girl Gameworks or New Agenda Publishing. I'm on Twitter as BG Gameworks. Before I introduce our players today, let me tell you a little bit about who we're raising funds for and how. Girls Inc. is a not-for-profit with a central goal of empowering and inspiring girls and young women. They use a network of 1,400 sites in 400 cities to develop, mentor, and guide girls in an affirming and welcoming environment. You can visit www.girlsinc.org to learn more about their mission. And you can donate right now by clicking on the donation button in the bottom of the screen, or going to www.roll4change, that's a 4, the number 4, .org/donate. And you can check out Roll4Change on Twitter. Again, it's the number 4, not the spelled out, for details on some great prizes that you can win by donating. Our goal today is to raise our $1,000 by the end of June, and we are currently at, that's an excellent question, I know, we are currently at $474.53, so we're a little less than halfway there. So playing with me today, we have Niffer. We just went over that. Niffer, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Niffer. I'm at Twitter at NifferNiff, and I am relatively new to tabletop and stuff like that, but I'm pretty excited to learn new games and stuff. So yeah.
My name is Kim. I'm on Twitter at Lady Lakira. I've been designing for a really long time. I have a couple of publications, but honestly, I'm like a lot of designers. A lot of my stuff is just hanging out in folders, and that's fine.
And I am Bailey. You can find me on Twitter at Ironic Adventure. And I told you people, you're going to have to forcibly remove me from Roll4Change. I'm not giving it up.
All right, so today we are playing For the Queen. It's a wonderful story game by Alex Roberts. She's Muscular Pikachu on the Twitters. It's a game where we're going to play the retinue of a queen undertaking a perilous journey, and it'll be fun. So normally you would share the reading of this, but since that works a little weird when you're not in person, I'm just going to read the instructions and the setup. So we're going to go around the table clockwise. Again, that's not going to work so great. So we'll kind of go in that kind of clockwise order. So we'll start with Niffer, then Kim, then Bailey, then me, then back to Niffer as our clockwise. Taking turns reading the instruction clouds. Okay, we're not. I'm reading this. The land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive. The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power. The Queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey. She chose you because she knows that you love her. You're welcome to look through the Queen cards. I've taken the liberty of choosing one that kind of felt right for me. I kind of like the imagery on the cards is gorgeous. So I chose this one. She's this lovely dark goddess queen sitting on her throne of possibly blood. We're not sure. It's something red. Could be rubies. We'll go through rubies. It could be puppies. You never know.
Why would you pick an evil queen? You know I'm susceptible to such
Have
things.
you known me? You know me, Kim. So you'll see the prompt cards. If you're in the Roll20, you'll see the little red deck of cards. We'll flip those, and that'll flip it over and put it into that lovely little prompts button. Why am I pointing at my screen? You can't see my screen. You'll see a prompt box, and that'll be where the prompts go. Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn, but whether you answer those questions or include their suggestions is entirely up to you. The X card is on the table, and we off camera we went over some lines and veils for everybody. So we've got that. If you encounter a card or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game. If you draw a card that's removed this way, just draw another card. You can X a card that you drew yourself. It's not a big deal. You can also pass on your turn. Like if you think, hey, I like this question, but I want to hear her answer to it. Just pass it on to the next person. If everybody passes around, nobody answers that question. It's not a big deal. And yeah, each player should answer we'll keep going until we get to a card that says the queen is under attack, and then we'll all answer that card, the question that's on that card, and then the game will be over. So whoever wants can start by drawing the first card. Any volunteers? If not, I will gladly do it. I see people putting their fingers on their noses.
I'll do it.
All right. So
just hit the red one.
Yeah, the red one.
Draw
I think you have to hit deal.
Draw the one card, please. All right. It says I have a card.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is hard to read.
Yeah.
What do you do for the queen that anyone... I cannot read that. How do I make that bigger? Hold one. Okay, that's not what I needed. You make my life difficult.
So it says, what do you do for the queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make you do it?
Oh, man, that's hard. So I have to answer as my character?
Yes.
I feel like I have to escort her a lot of places that don't necessarily need my skill. She just has to have like chaperones.
Okay, so you're her escort.
Yes.
Her chaperone, her nanny, maybe.
Yeah. As for why do I have to be the one to do it, I assume it's because she has a sense of paranoia.
Could be. Paranoia is always a good reason.
Do you resent it?
I think it depends on the day. A lot of the time it does just feel like babysitting. And I don't feel like that's what I was trained for.
Any other questions?
What are you trained for? I feel like that's an obvious one.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Mostly I am trained to be the queen's bodyguard. So I, can hold my own in like a sword fight and like know how to get her out of most of the rooms in the castle very quickly. I'm supposed to die for her.
Did you choose that position to be the one who would die for her, or is it something that was thrust upon you?
It was a choice made for me because of my birth.
Ooh.
Interesting. So were you born into like a caste of warriors or something?
You could call it that.
Okay.
I love this game.
I like the mystery of that. Like, I feel like we should leave it like right there. Like, what does that mean? Don't know. Move on.
Right. I'm going to just go ahead and flip the next card because apparently it works. That's not. All right, so the next one. Who is this distance power you are traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy? So that would be me if we're going clockwise. What distant power are we traveling to, and why do they make me uneasy? The distant power is it's a nearby queendom. Called Arrow. We've been at kind of loggerheads with them for seems like forever, at least as long as any of us can remember, and it makes me uneasy just because we've heard rumors of atrocities that they may have committed, just like sacrilege in our culture, but that seem to be like everyday in theirs, and even honorable in theirs, and it just kind of doesn't sit right with me. I don't know why.
Okay, but what do we do that they think is sacrilegious?
They find that we use utensils and they use their fingers, and they think, if you're supposed to get close to the food, and so they find that distance of getting away from your food a little off-putting, and we find the using of the fingers a little uncouth, and so it's little things like that. It's nothing like huge really in the overall scheme of things, just lots of little things that just don't quite match up.
Do we have similar religious practices though? Is it like a Protestant and Catholic kind of thing, or is it like complete?
I'll say they're both polytheistic, but with different pantheons.
Okay.
And so the form of worship probably differs. Like their supreme being is, let's say, more warlike, and ours is more dedicated to crafts.
Sparta, Athens.
Yeah, it does feel a little like that. But yeah, little things. Probably the same number in the pantheon and the same basic positions and roles. Just who's in charge. Yeah, who's
like the Romans.
We just put the emphasis on different syllables.
Exactly.
Oh, that made me happy. I'm the dumbest one.
Alrighty. Anybody else? All right. Niffer, this one's for you.
All right.
You saved the queen's life once. How?
I mean, it was probably by accident, honestly. Like I just tripped at just the right time, but we were out in public and I was following her as I'm wont to do and as I'm supposed to do, and I just kind of tripped, but it happened to be right as an assassin's bolt flew right past her, and I managed to save her life, and I played it off very well that I totally meant to do that because I love her. She's wonderful. And I have probably not told many people that it was an accident.
So, obvious question, who sent the assassin? Did the assassin get caught?
The assassin did not get caught ever, and it's made me very sad.
Oh.
Just sad.
So we'll never know. It made me very sad and scared, I suppose.
It just made me giggle. I'm sorry.
So who knows it was an accident?
I mean, maybe. We'll never know unless he tries again. They try again.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, like,
we know it's an accident.
That I tripped?
Yeah.
Yes. But she allows me to play it off that it was not.
Interesting.
Trying to think. You're not skilled at all with any kind of weapons, are you?
No, not really.
Okay. How would you react to being given one? Like a knife?
Give it to you, probably.
I'm the one giving you the knife.
You're around, and you seem that's your job, so you would be best suited to have it, right?
Well, if you're playing it off like this isn't an accident, clearly you must have some skills as a warrior. So I should make sure that you're properly armed.
My skills are defensive, not offensive.
Okay.
I avoid problems. I don't fix them.
Okay.
Fair.
it's gonna go so well.
Alrighty, Kim, this one's for you.
Oh boy.
You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why? And why does this worry you?
So I'm her favorite lady in waiting. I'm with her all the time. And she confides in me. And so clearly this must mean I'm her favorite. She doesn't confide in anyone else the same way. In fact, she has been known to, on occasion, tell her bodyguard to go away. And then she'll speak to me about things. The problem though is that she's a little obvious in her attentions, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get me stabbed. Like, like if it wasn't for this assassination being foiled, like, I mean, I might have died. That's a problem, right?
It's totally a problem. So
I mean,
you're worried not so much for the queen, so much as for yourself.
Oh, she's immortal. She'll be fine.
Oh, well, of course.
She has like dark magical powers, clearly. I don't actually know if that's true, but I think I believe it. I think I just have these ideas about her.
Blind faith and devotion. That'll work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Remind me to post pictures in my notes.
I could totally see her being. So what evidence do you have that she has dark powers, actually?
Well, she just knows things, right? Like, she... let's see. That assassination attempt, I think that she was completely unfazed by the whole thing, so she must have seen it coming and known that she would have been safe, right? Obviously. She's the one who's planning this route, and she's doing so with like utmost confidence, and she's brought us together, even though it's a little bit wild that she would just have us with her. So there must be a reason for it, right? And she just, shines with power.
What are you two talking about when I'm not in the room?
Makeup and
boys.
and boys.
And girls and
more girls.
Please, let me just put this. If I'm in the room, we're talking about girls. I'm just saying.
Your Highness, did you see her butt?
Okay, so I think she talks about politics and like things, and I think I don't understand it really. So it just sounds like really like arcane and like confusing and that sort of thing. But she seems to know what she's talking about, and things seem to work out the way she wants them to. So
It almost comes off like you're like her human diary, where she's like, I don't necessarily need you to talk back, but I just need to say this before I get it. You gotta get it.
Charming.
Rubber duck.
Yeah, I'm very charming and a little dull, I think.
Oh my gosh. So pretty.
Sometimes we don't talk. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
You put an evil queen up as our...
I know, I did.
Wait, what is the name of the girl on Game of Thrones that was Khaleesi's like bestie? What is her name?
Missandei?
Yes, is that you?
Having never watched or read Game of Thrones, I don't know, but
I'm gonna chat with you
I can see it.
I feel like
Missandei was actually smart though, so
fair, but like in the book, they did a lot of like stuff they didn't do in the.
Yeah, she was also like 12 in the book, so.
I'll talk offline.
Alrighty, Bailey.
Yes.
When did you know you would never forgive the queen?
Oh.
Why?
Okay, so the queen had my mother killed.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. And it is because she had her killed because my mother and the former king were very close, which is kind of why I have this job. But
Very close, you said.
very close. I don't know if anybody signs, but very close.
So are we talking you might be the queen's half-sister close?
I am.
Ah.
I am. Which is why they put me in this position, because they figured, oh, she's her sister. She'll protect her with her life.
Interesting.
But yeah. So there's that.
Any other questions? God, does anyone else know about that?
Who
How
knows?
secret is the fact that you're a half sister?
So I'm going to go ahead and say that it's probably not a secret, because I'm banking on the fact that maybe it's pretty common that everybody knows that the king has a favorite that is not his wife. It's pretty traditional for the half siblings to be put in higher positions of power that are not necessarily powerful, but respected.
How did you find out that you were half siblings? Were you raised with that fact? Or
Yes. So the queen is a little bit older than I am. Not a whole lot older, but enough. There is a slight resemblance feature-wise. And I'm not dreadfully dumb, so I was able to put 2 and 2 together and go, that's not fish.
So you're also always draped head to toe in black? That's the resemblance right there?
I mean, my armor is black.
Son of a bitch.
It's not so spiky because I think the spikes are impractical.
Fair.
I do have to wear a veil, though.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
How much can we see out of this veil? And do you ever take it off? Or is this only in private that you take it off?
I'm going to go with it's probably more like I very rarely ever take it off. And I'm not just veil, it's full wrap. Trying to think of there's a warrior princess that I really like that she wrapped did not it's not a hijab, but it's similar.
Okay.
But there is a small thinner part that goes right there.
Okay.
Across the nose.
Cool. Alrighty.
I'm enjoying this character already. I'm gonna draw her later.
So I suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations. Really, I can talk. What else do I believe is going on, and why?
You're getting all the political ones. I like this.
I know, right? Actually, I'm going to pass. I want to hear Niffer's answer to this one.
Ooh.
Oh.
Is there hanky-panky going on? Is there
Potential
a quest
for
a potential for hanky-panky? Is there a quest for some dark object? What's going on?
Ooh. I don't want to pass this, but I don't know. I'm not all about politics, unlike you, apparently.
Wait, didn't you say earlier you wanted to be a princess? Are they trying to marry you off?
Ooh, that's where my mind went too.
She would never do that. Of course not. Would
Oh, sweetie.
Oh, honey.
Would she?
Oh, you sweet summer child.
Wait, are you her daughter or are you
little sister,
cousin or what?
I am the not very young, but rather young daughter of the queen. Yes. And I am only accompanying my mother because she has a job to do. Nothing related to me, right?
Oh yeah, you're getting married off. I'm gonna get you another knife.
Sweet. Okay. I have been told that we are meeting the neighboring Kingdom of Arrows leaders, and I have been informed that there is another young person of my similar age in that royal family as well.
Oh, you're lucky.
But I have not heard anything about marriage at all. Right?
I buy it. That sounds very convincing.
I totally believe it.
There is maybe one thought every couple of days that maybe this isn't only diplomatic.
So if you're not interested in marrying the younger person in Arrow, is there somebody you are interested in?
Oh, excellent question.
I know this game is like perfect for me because I'm like, this is all palace intrigue.
I do like this. I do like this a lot.
Dude,
I haven't gotten to be this dramatic in so long.
I need my fame.
There is.
Thank you.
Wait.
Oh, and he's in So Slay. I love it.
Dollar store, basically.
Girl, now I have to go get mine. Now I feel like I need to go get mine.
We all need our fans for this. This is perfect. I love this.
Do I have a fan? I have to have one somewhere around here.
I'm sure you could make one quickly.
For real. No, this is I will speak the words of Princess Diaries of I'm too shy to talk about this. No.
That is a perfectly
God.
fair answer.
I love it.
You've got to play this game outside of this.
There perhaps is a young man at home. I have not spoken of him to my mother because he is far below my station. And I know that she would not approve without a lot of groundwork being laid and a lot of flattery and convincing. So he shall remain a secret.
So you have to ask for the pony to get the goldfish.
What?
Oh, you've never heard this? So when you're a kid and you're trying to negotiate and you really want a goldfish, you start by asking for a pony. And your parents are going to say no to the pony. But a goldfish is going to sound reasonable in comparison.
That's fair, but I feel like the Prince of Arrow is the pony in this.
Probably. So
Yeah, but if you don't want, but the point of that is you don't want the pony. You want the goldfish.
Yes, but if I ask for the Prince of Arrow, she'll give me the Prince of Arrow. And I don't want that.
Yeah, sometimes mom says yes to the pony and then you get a pony and a goldfish. But, you know.
Or you get a pony and you name it Goldfish.
There you
That's
go.
true. I think the Prince of Arrow already has a name. But we'll discuss naming him Goldfish.
Give me like 3 minutes and I'll find a way, like in a weird language, where it'll work.
But yes, I may believe there is an alternative plot. I am hoping against hope that it is not true and that we are only going for diplomatic negotiation.
Fair. Any other questions? All right, Kim. The
Thank
queen lights a fire in you. What is it?
I think we've established this without even having to like put this out here.
Okay, can I just say that I'm trying really hard not to be like, yeah, I bang the queen a lot, and you're not helping.
The cards are playing as they are.
Do I
I'm gonna,
feel like
I am not responsible for the order that they come up with. I shuffled the deck 3 times.
I feel like I have to write a sternly worded letter to Alex and tell her I feel called out. Okay, so
That's
I
fair.
think we've established that maybe I may or may not be banging the queen. However, no, okay, so she inspires me to be stronger and better because I don't want to be a liability to her, and I'm her trusted handmaiden and blah blah blah. So I am learning magic.
Ooh.
I have found a grimoire, and I'm teaching myself magic. This can only go well.
yeah, about as well as me with 2 knives.
So, out of curiosity, what have you set on fire by accident?
Oh,
in
no,
practicing?
They didn't say she literally lights you on fire.
I no longer have my favorite dress.
Oh.
It's fine, because in the midst of that, the thing is, I no longer have my favorite dress, but it's okay because what I did was light myself on fire, but I didn't burn, so it sort of worked, right? So it's a net positive, right?
Oh my gosh, Kim's character is pretty.
Lovely, I love it.
Oh
Like
my
it.
God.
Oh,
I love it. I ship it.
I feel like Niffer shouldn't ship it because she's like,
I
no,
know.
that's
I'm like, do I need to call your mom now? Like,
shut him out. Oh my gosh. No, she's just your mom's special friend.
yeah, mom's friend. Yep.
Or your auntie.
Yes. No, that's you. You're auntie. Oh.
Oh, this guy.
No, not no. I'm your aunt. There's a difference between an aunt and an auntie. Trust me.
Bailey,
Yes.
there's a part of you that does not want peace in this land. Why are you attached to the war?
Well, it's clearly because whatever reason started this war, our side was right. And I mean, the king died, or the old king died, fighting for these. And I have, hero worship over him because he was like such an amazing warrior. And like that part of me is like hyper focused of like, nope, not a bad person, not human scumbag.
So you're attached because if they somehow, the war somehow ended, you'd have to deal with the feelings left behind by your dad's daughter killing your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I just want to fight things. That's how I deal with like stress or no, I didn't give the princess another knife. I swear.
Are you just gonna give me a knife every round to deal with things, or like?
I'm getting the feeling that you're attached to the war because you don't want to have feels. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, when you spend your whole life learning to fight, that's you don't really want to have feelings because feelings are weak. And no, the knives are only because I don't know how to give proper girl gifts. Like you go to those like little stalls and you're like, oh look, shiny jewelry, or oh look, a knife you can hide in your boot. This is practical.
But you can make a pretty knife that you can hide in your boot.
I can. That wouldn't be about
things.
I'm saving that one for the wedding.
Oh.
To
who? I don't want to deal with things.
What do I usually do for the royal family, and why does that make me an unlikely choice for this journey?
Ooh.
Oh, now we get to hear about Misha's character. That's nice.
Yeah, right.
I don't know who you are.
Neither do I, so now I gotta make up something.
Well, lover, sister, and daughter has already been taken. So
you're assuming you can only have one lover.
Or sister or daughter.
Or sister or daughter.
We've established
but
that
it's something that's likely to travel. I am usually a librarian.
Ooh.
And you don't usually take librarians on perilous journeys because librarians are not exactly good at the fighting thing. And yes, they have like incredible amounts of recall and could maybe help in negotiations, but they're not also necessarily known for tact. So you don't necessarily want them to be in the room when you're actually doing diplomacy stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm not quite the normal choice for this.
You usually read to the queen?
When she's tired, she's perfectly capable of reading herself, and usually
is she literate?
No, she's perfectly capable of reading herself. But usually it's like, bring me a book on blank, and I go and find said book on blank and bring it to her. And help her drill that. It's more like I'm Google and then I'm presenting her sources and she's like looking through them herself. Occasionally I'll read them, she'll push the text to speech and I'll explain what's going on in there.
I assume I use the text to speech feature a lot more.
Yes, the stuff I bring to you is a little less weighty.
Boring? Yeah.
Sure, we'll use that term.
Okay, did I get my grimoire from you?
A good way to Google.
So question, did I get my grimoire from you?
Oh. And was it intentional?
Yes, but I don't think I knew it was actually a grimoire. Like, it said it was a grimoire, but who believes that kind of stuff? So yeah, it was like, yeah, sure, you want a grimoire? Yeah, I can totally find you one of those.
Oh my god, so good.
This is the dumbest part ever.
Hey!
I'm just saying, like. So, do you have a specialty where you like excel, like without having to like look for the books? You're like, I know this topic. I could talk about it for 35 minutes on a whole.
Surprisingly, she's really good at culinary arts for some reason.
Your character or the queen?
That's why you
Both.
got
Like she can tell you 37 ways to cook an egg, but that's not necessarily the most useful skill outside of a kitchen.
Okay.
And she can tell you 37 ways to cook an egg. That doesn't mean she can cook an egg 37 ways.
Okay.
not well.
Not well.
And what's to cook? You crack it in the pan and then you wait till it's not running anymore.
Yes, I'm not always. Sometimes though, if you do that, sometimes it gets all burny before it's not runny, and then
The burn parts means it's done.
Sure. Uh-huh.
This is the real questions this game needs to be asking. How do you take your eggs?
Personally, I like them scrambled with cheese.
That's awesome.
A nice sharp cheddar, preferably.
I'm allergic to eggs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Depends on what I'm eating them with.
Also a fair question.
I may actually know 37 ways to cook an egg now that I think
I
about
could
it.
probably think of 37 ways to cook an egg.
There's a video actually on how to cook it.
Yeah.
This is a tangent. I'll send it to you later.
I think I've seen it recently. So the queen thinks more highly of you than you do of yourself.
Ooh.
How do you know this, Sniffer?
I'm klutzy and I don't pay attention when you're giving me school lessons and bring me books. I don't always do the reading, even if I say I do. And there's a lot of, I find a lot of fault in myself. And my mother tries the best to encourage me and tell me that I'm going to do wonderful and do all of the best things for a future country. She keeps saying a country and not our country, and I'm not sure why, but yeah, I think she only thinks that highly of me because she's my mother, but she does think really highly of me.
No. Is there something that you yourself think you do really well?
I'm very good at pretending I know what's going on when I don't. And I sometimes make guesses about things I observe, and I turn out to be right. Like that time I tripped and pretended it was on purpose. It turned out to be averting an assassination attempt, so that was pretty smart.
Nice.
Him.
Yes.
What makes the queen ugly in your eyes?
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is when we whip out the fans.
Okay. I think that the burden of rulership is causing her to turn into someone that she doesn't want to be. But she feels a responsibility to the country and to everything. And so all of her choices are like for the greater good sort of thing, but it means that she has to make some really like tough and bad decisions, or like decisions where there's no good answer, right? So in my mind, I think I blame all of that on the rulership side of things, and then everything good and nice about her is just her, and it's like rulership is corrupting who I think she could be if she didn't have to make those decisions.
Interesting.
It's not so much necessarily that she doesn't want to make those decisions so much as you don't want her to have made those decisions.
Same difference, right?
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're also avoiding field.
Projecting her? No, not her.
All right. Bailey,
Yes.
when was the last time the queen showed you real kindness?
See, she is nice.
It's like I had to think about that for like a good solid second because this is the woman that killed my mom.
But she has apparently occasionally, because you do love her for some reason. So she's shown you some redeeming quality for being
Yes,
matricidal.
is it real love or is it just that obligated family love?
I don't know. Is it?
I feel like the only like real kindness, I don't think it was directly shown to me. I think I witnessed it. And it was one of those like small moments where you're like, this person's not a total. And I think it probably had to do with Niffer's character. Like seeing her be a mom in that like brief moment probably made me think about my own mom and get that small human side.
So it wasn't even that she showed you kindness so much as she showed somebody else kindness.
Yeah.
That's
because I don't think she thinks about me very much or fondly.
That's quite telling.
Y'all got anything else? Come on. Ask me questions.
Wait, is this why you're so like fond of Niffer's character? Because this is like your displaced love?
Probably. Like, part of me is just, well, this one's never going to love me. This one is so sad and cute and innocent.
She needs a knife.
Let me just give you one more knife. You're just going to be the most, like, weapon-laden person. I don't know how to use any of these. She just keeps giving them to.
I guess Misha wasn't really wrong when she introduced me as Knifer at the beginning.
Yes, it was 2 words. Knife her, as in give her a knife.
Yeah.
I
Take it to heart.
I think like some part of me like wants to be able to show Niffer's character like, hey, you don't really have to be like the princess in the tower, even though she kind of wants to be the princess in the tower. So
I mean, look, you only have so many options when you're as dumb as I am.
oh,
You're not dumb, honey. You're just
pretty.
pretty.
It's like a legit joke in my family when somebody says something stupid, you just reach over, you touch their cheek. Oh, so pretty.
I get a lot of thank God you're pretty.
Oh.
No. I think it's like maybe that like Niffer looks more like her mom did when she was little, and that's kind of
I haven't been like entirely corrupted by power.
exactly. So like that part of me doesn't hate her because it kind of reminds me of when the queen was younger and like not as antagonistic with me.
God.
I have potential to be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to help you get there, but I don't know how.
Knives are not the way to get me to not go.
What if I get you one of those fans that has the metal in them? So you can hit
Now we're
people with
talking.
it.
With the blades of the tips?
Yes.
Ooh.
Eh.
Get-
But there's like little covers so you won't hurt yourself.
Oh, good. Great. Put safety lids on it. That'll help. I am a danger to society and myself.
But my mom thinks I'm cool. Oh,
Okay.
All right.
I was summoned to a private meeting with the queen once. Why did I feel disappointed after?
Because she didn't want to know 37 ways to cook an egg.
No, see that would have been weird. That would have been very, very. That would have been strange.
Did she damage a book?
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Pay late fines and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Like, it's her library. She doesn't have to pay fines.
Did she write?
I think she had requested some a particular tome, and I had brought it and stood, and we were discussing it, and she was reading it as we were talking, and she saw something, and she just threw it into the flames in a fit of pique and anger. And it's not something I'd ever seen her do before. Like, normally she's, hey, these are books, they contain knowledge, they're useful, they're important. But this, she just and it was just like, how could you do that?
What book was it?
You beat me to it.
I need to know.
It was A History of the War.
Ooh.
I think she's trying to communicate something to us about this book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just me going, there was something in there that she didn't like to see. I don't know what it was.
Could it perhaps be something that points that our kingdom was the aggressor in something?
She didn't say it out loud, whatever it was. We were discussing something innocuous, and she read some passage and just tossed it away. And I wish I had a little better recall so I could remember precisely, based on where she was in the book, as to what it might have been, but I don't know.
Was it just you two in the room when that happened?
Yes. This is a private meeting. All right. Niffer.
Oh boy.
Think of someone in this retinue as the queen's favorite. Who and what makes you think this?
Duh.
Hold on, I'm pointing to Cam.
No, Kim is up from you, Bailey.
Oh, I can't see what the actual Twitch thing is. I'm just going by the Zoom.
I assume that I'm her favorite because I'm her child, and she often tells me that I am her beloved favorite daughter, although she only has one. And it's kind of hard to hide illegitimate children when you're the mom of them, so I'm pretty sure I'm the only one.
What are you?
You know what? I'm not that old. I don't know if I have older siblings, but I definitely don't have younger siblings. Yeah, I've been told that I'm her most beloved, and I believe that because that's what family does, and she is my favorite family member. She's my only family member. But
I'm gonna go ahead and take one of the knives back, and it's going right in here.
But Bailey, you said it was a secret. She might not know.
it's true.
It's not a secret that I'm it's not a secret that I'm the half sister.
It's not a secret, but I feel like it's not often brought up
Yeah,
to me.
fair.
Like, because let's be real, you would then be in competition for the heir, and that would not be a good thing to know about.
I don't want it.
Apparently, I'm not getting it because I'm getting married off.
Doesn't mean you're not her favorite. She's setting you up in a kingdom of your own. She's immortal. She's gonna live another, gajillion years. She can't give you her throne.
It's true. Maybe I don't want one. Maybe I just want to stay with her.
I could teach you how to do that, but you don't like knives.
It's not that I don't like knives, it's that I don't know how to use them well, and I prefer to leave that to the professionals.
Fair. That being said, if the queen does in fact have magic, who's to say that she's the mom? She could have kids. Somebody else could have had them.
That's fair. I don't know how that works. I was not paying attention to any magic lessons.
They could be
Okay.
homunculi.
There's like a chapter on that much later, but I don't understand it, so we're just not.
Look, I skipped that day in school. Hooky.
You do not, in fact, know about the orcs and the fleas?
I went on a picnic with my boy that day. I skipped out.
So you did have a lesson, you just not a traditional
Those orcs
one.
and the fleas. Oh no, that is a traditional lesson. That's what you're not understanding.
I
So
didn't
Kim,
just die.
Uh-oh.
you are considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Be really mean and pass this. No.
You could be really cruel or kind, depending on how you wanted to look
Pause for a second. How do we feel about racism in this game?
Are we talking like fantasy racism?
Sort of. Like, because like the first thing I think I've never mind what books I've been reading, but it's a thing. Like it's about girls in love. No one's surprised. But anyways, the reason why I ask, because there's this war going on between countries. There's this sort of thing. There's this idea that there's foreignness sits uneasily with people. I could be foreign.
I was gonna say you could be from Arrow.
Yeah.
I could be from Arrow.
I mean, that's xenophobia, not racism.
Well, it's still potentially
It's tied
racist.
together.
It's kind of both.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. You are.
I'm okay with it, but it depends on how people feel about it. Because if we don't want to put it in, I will come up with something else.
I was gonna say if you don't want it, I'll take this one.
But you have already said that you look like the queen. Don't you call my mama ugly.
Maybe I have scars.
Ooh, maybe I do want to punt this off to you. Now that I think about it, because it means that you have this complicated relationship with the queen, like, because she makes you question whether or not you're ugly, right? Yeah, I'm punting. That's actually too good. I like that too much. Yep. I want you to feel very complicated about.
Yes.
You're considered ugly by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Yeah, I am gonna go with I have a ton of scars, just from fighting and training in general. One particular one that runs from my upper temple down to my jaw. But it's one that I got in service to the queen, like that one specifically. But she has this like weird way of talking about them as if they are something beautiful, because they show commitment, to her cause and to her. So she doesn't see them necessarily as ugly, but as like badges of honor. And for me, that's hard because it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I agree with you, but thank you.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like when Regina George gives you a compliment. You're like, is this a compliment? Is this backhanded? What is this?
Interesting. So what I'm hearing you say is chicks dig scars.
I mean, yeah. Kim?
Chicks dig scars. Yeah.
Oh no.
Ooh. Perfect.
How did these come up back to back? You know what? Actually, I want to punt this one. You are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Oh my god.
I'm really tempted to just punt this until it gets to Bailey again.
I'll rant all day about my complicated relationship.
All right, I will take this, I guess. I have been told of my resemblance to my mother, of how I follow her same delicate bone structure, yet also firmness of bearing. And that's kind of very like outer words. And my mother kind of tries to get me to forget that, because appearances are now what's important, which is why she very often goes out in a veil, because she wants people not to be distracted by just the physical appearance and to focus on things like, caring about peace and about the country. And so she kind of tries to downplay beauty, and as such, that's kind of made me question just like beauty standards in general of like, is that important? Should that be something that we value? Should we all go around wearing veils like Bailey's character and the queen? And yeah, so it's kind of just like maybe a second thinking of things. So.
I just realized how incredibly messed up it would be if she was like, if you're not careful, you're going to end up looking like her. And points to my character. Quit lifting things. You're going to get ropey.
So it's just that she questions the idea of beauty in general. It makes you question whether or not you're actually beautiful.
Yes. And is that something that I should be proud of, that I'm beautiful? Because, there should be other things that I'm focused on, like learning and running a country. And am I doing those things? Maybe not.
There. Kim, you saw something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? And did you come to respect her more or less afterwards?
Son of a I think one night I saw her summon a creature to run ahead and deal with a problem that she had foreseen. She didn't share with me what that problem was going to be, but the creature that she summoned was like some sort of monster thing. And the only reason why I really kind of understand what it was because I too am someone like studying magic, so I sort of recognized kind of what a summoning circle looked like and that sort of thing. I don't think I actually saw the monster, but I knew that the circle was to summon a monster of some kind, right? And I know that this monster is like a hunter, and so she sent it to deal with something. And that night while we were traveling, I think she insisted that we camp for an extra day somewhere, even though there wasn't any like real reason for it necessarily. So my suspicion is that she foresaw a threat and sent this thing to go deal with it so that we wouldn't have to, and she kept us back so that we wouldn't go see it, like see what had happened. But I do know that whatever this spell like is one of those like corrupting kind of things. You can't help but be like tainted in some way by calling upon this power. And I'm divided. On the one hand, this is another one of those burden of leadership things that is causing her to become increasingly corrupted from the woman that I think she could be and that I love. But on the other hand, like she's choosing to take this burden on her soul to protect us. So that shows that she must care for us very much, right? Like a lot. So like, did
she choose to accept this burden, or was it just an easier way of dealing with it?
That sounds like the sort of like philosophical mumbo jumbo that I'm not very equipped to deal with.
None of us are.
Speak for yourselves.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay, to be fair, the librarian I think is the kind of person who could go on and on about this.
True, I feel like the librarian would be great at this.
Did you tell anybody what you saw?
Ooh.
No, because she went to great pains to keep it secret, and the only reason why I know about it, like I recognize the signs of it, is because I have secretly been been studying things. So I think that I don't want her to like stress out about it, sort of thing. So I covered up her tracks. I like stored the rest of the remnants in case someone else would notice it, like this pesky librarian.
Pesky.
And yeah.
Pesky before.
I don't think
Meddling librarians. Was there any physical side effects that affected the queen that you like tried to help her like hide? Like extra fatigue or like one of those dark marks that like slowly creeps up your arm?
Her appetite has been off, and I've been insisting on making her food. And I play it off like, oh, it's the strain of travel. I'll just make her like invalid food, it's her special meals, sort of thing. But I've been feeding her like bloody meat.
Ooh.
Gross.
So she's been eating it a little rarer than normal. Yeah.
So you said that she foresaw stuff. Have you noticed her using this gift of foresight often?
I assume that she has foresight because she seems to have plans for like she seems to have a plan for like everything that crops up, like even things that I don't understand necessarily. So whether or not she actually has it or not, I have faith that she must have it because it's the only explanation, right? But yeah, she almost always seems prepared for whatever's coming, whether that's just like she's really poised and good at that sort of thing, or
I inherited my faking knowing what's going on from her. Yeah.
Story checks. All right, Bailey.
Yes.
This is a hard one. When was the last time the queen hurt you?
What's today? I think the last time she like truly hurt me was I was trying to teach Niffer's character fencing when she was still very young. Because I thought it would be like something that I could do to help prepare this future queen. It's like, okay, well, this is what I can do. And either she like got a bruise or like a small nick or something. And then was like, immediately I was not allowed to like ever spend time with her like in that capacity.
Story checks. I can totally see that happening. Niffer, do you even remember this bruise?
I mean,
oh my god, she got hit in the head. That's why she ain't smart. I'm sorry. That's only where my mind went.
I love that though. I love that.
I'm sorry. It does not have to be.
No, I think
I dropped her as a baby.
that actually happened to me. I think it was not as consequential to me as it was to Bailey's character. And so it was kind of just like, oh yeah, that was a thing that happened, and now I have one teeny tiny scar, just like she has a bunch of cool scars and stuff. So that was a little bit of like, and then, but yeah, I don't think it was of much importance to me. Like, it didn't hurt that bad.
It's not even really a scar. It's just like a slight scar.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, that was already there before.
Honey, that's a freckle.
It's a freckle.
That's a Cheeto. Oh.
There are Cheetos in this kingdom. It is canonical now. Oh my gosh.
I was gonna ask Bailey if this was actually the queen hurting you, or if it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of you think that she dislikes you so much, and so you always look for ways to interpret her actions as you actually getting hurt.
That one's hard.
Thanks.
Because I don't have kids, but I very much have like the mama bear thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's one particular coworker that I know I would not trust with my kids. And I think if anything happened where the kid got hurt, even if it wasn't necessarily that coworker's fault, some part of me would be like, meh. So I definitely could see how that could be either of those things. And like you said, it wasn't like this huge cut. It was like this, like, I'm imagining just like a scratch on your arm or something, or like something very, very tiny. And
not even a cool face scar. Like, it was the arm. Like,
it's just like a minor owie.
Yeah.
But like the character that I'm putting in my head would immediately assume that is I've, completely messed up in that point, so that anything that the queen did would be justified. But at the same time, that other small part of her that wants to have the family now feels like I can't even have that. She has to take that from me too. I think Misha got muted again.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. No, I just said ouch.
Yeah.
Funny story, my husband and I were, he hit his head on the way up the stairs, and he remembered, my daughter's now 11, and he remembered, like, he accidentally hit her head on a cross beam, the same way he just ran into his, like, when she was less than a year old. He's like, I still feel good. She didn't, there was no bump, there was no bruise. She may have, like, cried for, like, 2 minutes and then went back to sleep, but he's like, yeah, you still feel guilty about it, even, like, 11 years later, so, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. I work in child watch. Every boo-boo counts.
Yep.
Mm.
All right. What do I do to disappoint the queen on this journey? How? How does librarian disappoint a queen?
Did we skip Kim? No. Okay, for some reason I thought she went after me.
No, she goes before you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hit my head.
What do I do to disappoint the queen on this journey? I think I unintentionally reveal a weakness of hers. Like, yeah, Kim was saying she's been feeding her bloodier meat, and her appetite's been off, and I think maybe just I remark on it, not in private, so that other people can now know about it. Whereas before it was kind of like maybe people, right, thought about it, but nobody ever said it, so it was never a thing. It was just, oh yeah, no, we can pass it off. But now I brought it out into the light, and people are examining this concept, and so yeah, she's a little miffed.
Is the queen a lich?
I don't know. Is she? What's a lich?
You're the librarian. You tell me. I just keep thinking about like
you tell us.
We're all pretty. This is our problem.
I don't know.
I'm not allowed to touch her.
She's immortal. Maybe I don't know. Possibly has some powers.
I'm very worried about. I'm very worried about Vampire Queen.
Wait, I might be a lich. What?
Don't be worried about Vampire Queen. Be excited about Vampire Queen.
I know, right?
Oh, every game I've had a Vampire Queen, it has not ended well.
I mean, that's just a matter of perspective.
I like this one. So, Niffer, there's a false rumor about you and the queen back at the royal court. What is it, and how did it start?
The false rumor would be that I am not the king's. And it started by dissenters, and that I was not displaying some of the queen's more noticeable traits and abilities, such as her immortalness or whatever, immortality and foresight things. And so some dissenters of the higher court kind of started questioning my parentage and if I should be allowed to be still a member of the royal line. And yeah.
Quick out of character question. Wouldn't that be you weren't showing signs of your dad? Because you can't, I mean, unless the queen like went away for 9 months and then came back with you.
But yeah, it would be kind of like you have to get it from both sides. And
yeah, but if like you're not showing stuff of your mom's, that's that happens. But like if the rumor is that you're not your dad's kid.
Yeah, but like if you have to get it from both parents to like have it fully show, and I only got it from mom, and so like dad messed up or something.
Okay.
So like you have brown eyes when you should have blue eyes because both your parents are blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are those dissenters still alive?
They were some of them were told to recant, and they did, and others did not, and they were put away in prison or executed, probably. Scandal.
Were the executions public, or was this she just got rid of them quietly?
It was very private, because if I don't end up showing those abilities, it's going to be kind of unfortunate, and maybe that's why I'm being taken to another kingdom, because if I can't step up and fulfill my mother's role, then that's probably a bad show of the royal family. So it was kind of kept as quiet as possible so that nobody really knows that I may not be as fit to rule as my mother. So it was kept quiet.
Interesting.
Any other questions? All right. Kim, darling.
No.
When did you know you were in love with the queen?
Perfect.
Oh God.
The cards like you.
Mommy, how did you meet Mommy?
No, seriously, this is like I did not come into this game. Like I deliberately thought to myself, let's not start by banging the queen. Let's no.
I love this.
It's not my fault.
I knew this was the game for you. Okay.
I want to play this game a lot.
Writing a sternly worded letter to Alex. Dear Alex, why
Why
am I so gay all the time?
That's the way you were made.
It's a matter of perspective. Like, it's not a problem unless you make it a problem.
Evil queen eating bloody meat. I feel like there's a... Okay, anyway.
PG-13, please.
Oh my God, I didn't even...
I messed that up on my own. Well played, Bailey.
What? We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. Okay.
Rewind.
I think I fell in love with her. Okay, so I think that I'm like from one of the minor noble families or whatever, and like we're constantly like act as ladies in waiting for like various higher up nobles and that sort of thing. And I think originally I didn't work for the queen, but I was brought to court by a different noble, and when I saw her, it was like one of those love at first sight sort of things. And I went to her and I was like, I would like to be one of your ladies in waiting, and she was like, what the hell? I'm like, I will be your most devoted servant, and I more or less like indentured myself to her for like a while or whatever, until she was like, okay, yeah, you're like the best lady in waiting I've ever had, whatever. Let's do this sort of thing. So,
It wasn't even like political scheming. It was straight out, I like you.
yeah. I'm a little dull. I'm not this political.
You're not the only one.
You know who your real mama is.
going to say. Okay. Anyways.
Alrighty then.
How obvious is it that you're in love with the queen?
I think it's really obvious. Like, I am incredibly.
Like, we have to put up with like googly eyes all the entire trip. Like, if anybody sits in between you, it's just like, oh boy. Like,
are you catching the floaty hearts going back and forth?
You know what? I think that there are like floaty hearts everywhere. Like, I'm really attuned. Like, I'll go off and like do other things and whatever. Like, I'll have conversations with other people, but it's really obvious whenever she comes into my awareness, right? Because then there's just this like change in my demeanor of like, yes, there she is. And even if I'm not like interacting with her necessarily, because I'm not like following her around 24/7, whatever, but like if she needs something, like a second later I'll know and be there doing the thing and whatever.
My main conversation partners are Misha.
So it's pretty clear that she's sort of center of my universe.
and like with you practicing magic, there's probably some real like illusion floaty hearts sometimes too.
Oh, like unintentional. Like how did this happen?
Stop casting magic right now.
No, because I don't feel like I would be able to unintentionally cast magic. I feel like it's actually really hard for me. Like, I feel like I'm a really solid, like, I'm a solid C student with study, you know?
Fair.
At least you can cast magic.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Says the bard and the fighter.
So, Bailey.
Yeah.
The queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Why?
Oh, that's hard.
Because this random lady keeps walking up to me and giving me knives. That's why I don't trust her.
I mean, you know that I'm your mom's bodyguard.
Your sister.
Oh, man. I think it's because there's been this like ongoing rumor because we're not like 6 years apart. It's very close age-wise. So there's always been this like slight, are we sure the queen is older?
Oh, like were you born on the same night?
It's more like within like a day of each other, but you know, records are hard to keep. So we're never quite sure which baby was, but everyone likes to like, no, it's the queen. But there's always those people in the background that are like, or was it? And I think that because I don't actively go out of my way to like stop that, because for me, it's just water off my back of like, whatever, this is always going to happen. I think that puts a lot of the higher ups kind of like, you know, side-eyeing. But I think that the queen realizes that that's not anything that I ever want. So she knows that her power is secure in that way.
Cool beans.
Anybody else got questions? I love
Do
these.
you
They're
trust
fun.
anyone else in the royal court?
Do I trust anyone else in the royal court?
Yeah, like if we don't trust you, do you trust us?
I probably trust your character more along the lines because I don't think that you scheme.
In a bless your heart kind of way?
Yeah, and I don't think I have to worry about that one too much.
Not a threat.
Maybe when you get older, I will. I'll have a hard time with it. I definitely don't trust Kim's character because I don't trust magic. It's nothing personal. It's just as soon as I saw the grimoire, I was like, and we're done.
To be fair, solid C student. Yeah,
I saw you catch yourself on fire. I don't trust magic as a concept.
Did not burn myself.
This is true.
Um,
Unscathed.
Yeah. That's a net positive.
I probably don't trust a lot of politicians. I don't feel like Misha's character like has done anything to like make me distrust her yet.
Yay, team, not a threat.
Non-threatening.
And it's not even that I feel threatened by Kim's character. It's just I don't trust magic.
There.
Yep.
I probably was fine with you before then.
Mhm.
And I don't treat you rudely. I just, yeah, you have fun. I'm gonna be over here. I don't want to be in the room when you're practicing magic.
Nobody does. It's fine.
I'm wearing a lot of metal.
Yeah, it's a little scary sometimes. Like, you know, do my best.
Oh man, I love this game. Do we just keep going until something happens?
Yeah, we keep going until there's a card that will say there's a card that'll have something on there, and that'll be the one.
Okay.
How does the queen remind us of her status while she's on the journey? I mean, besides the requests, ever increasingly strange and esoteric requests for things, and the fact that she has she's in a carriage while the rest of us are on these horses that are not exactly comfortable.
I was gonna say, are you guys even on horses, or are you because you're ladies in waiting? Wouldn't you be on mules?
Possibly, sure. Mule, horse. What's the difference, right? It's one of those stinky things with the four legs, the manes. Okay.
Sorry, I really like European royalty. So I know like a lot about that stupid stuff.
I do, but my character might not. It's a stinky animal. That's all she really knows. What else would she do? I mean, for some reason, she's really like trying to make sure that we remember that she's the queen, which is really odd because like it's not like any of us would forget that she's the queen, but for some reason she still has to remind us that she's the queen. And I don't know what's up with that. It's a little weird.
It's that paranoia, man.
Right? Paranoia is a hell of a drug.
But is it paranoia if they really are after you?
You can still be paranoid even if they're out to get you. All right.
It's a nice thinking.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Oh no.
So Niffer,
Oh no.
the queen is not your queen. Why do you serve her anyway?
I mean,
You can pass it.
You could. Or you can make up something.
I mean, my first thought was just, well, she's the royal family. She's not my queen. She's my mother.
Oh. So then who is your queen?
I don't know that I have one. Like, she's the queen, but that's not necessarily how I think of her. Like, I obey her because she's my mother and because she's the head of our house, and so that is why, like, that's worth serving already, and because she has a future laid out for me, and so I have to do that and don't resent it at all.
I'm not sure if that was a passive aggressive don't resent that at all, or just a straight out no, not really, I don't resent it at all.
Oh, it's passive aggressive.
Okay,
100%.
She says that every morning, in fact, and I don't resent this at all.
I don't resent this at all.
I don't resent this at all.
It's like positive thinking.
Happy place. Happy place.
Not resent this.
Wait.
No, this is fine. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is too easy. So Kim, Why are some of the others at the royal court jealous of the relationship of the queen? I didn't. This is just the order. They're coming up in.
Easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid the obvious and easy answer because because I feel like it's cheating if every time a card comes up I go because I'm gay and it's just very gay all over the place.
It's true.
It's so gay.
Does she like give you gifts?
I think so. I think that there's like the fact that I was initially a lady waiting for like a noble house. Like I should never have been elevated to this level at all, like given my status and this sort of thing. Like I've bumped other like noble ladies out of the way.
You cut in the queue.
Did you get a pony when I asked for a goldfish?
Oh damn!
In fact, on this journey, I am riding a pony. Like this, yes, I'm in fact riding a pony. It's not the same. Like it's not a horse, but it's not a mule. It's a pony.
But it's a pony.
Yeah, right.
I didn't get a pony.
I didn't get a pony.
Exactly. So there's lots of like things where she just sort of offhandedly is like, here, have a thing, and I'm like, oh, thank you, it's so nice. And she just doesn't seem to think anything of it. Like, of course, I'm going to give this to her, sort of thing.
Is the pony the only gift you've gotten?
A lady never tells.
Oh.
I mean, but do you have like a really obvious piece of jewelry?
Ooh.
Like maybe something that, like some part of like the royal jewels, like that she gave to you.
Ooh.
Oh.
This must be my tiara.
I get first pick of her cast-offs.
Ooh. Nice.
How very dare you?
Mom, I'm right here.
Sweetie, you're like 2 sizes too small.
Oh,
Yeah, girl.
that's awesome.
I love that.
You don't even have to wear them because you could just like be like, yeah, this is the queen's clothes, and then sell it and make like a ton of money.
Well, and like everyone kind of just like, and I don't necessarily do that because like obviously I need clothes and stuff. So yeah, I wear like really fantastic clothes and this sort of thing, but I don't like keep everything necessarily. So I'm like, oh no, I don't need that. But now they're the clothes that I refused, and who really wants them?
Oh, even the country bumpkin refused these.
Right? Like, so there's the sense of like, it used to be the queen's, but now this person's refused it. So like, is it actually something you want to be caught wearing? Yes, no, maybe. Like, it's very
Nice.
Damn, you're good at this.
Yeah. A little too good.
Surprise! I was the lich all along.
I believe that.
Do you? Does your character think
I believe
unkind thoughts towards Kim?
I believe anything. What?
I was gonna say, does your character think unkind thoughts towards Kim?
Look, there's a certain amount of paranoia that my mother has that I may have inherited.
Interesting.
So, Bailey.
Yes.
The queen touched you once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
First thought was not good touch.
Oh.
We went back to chicks dig scars.
Hey, that could totally be it. Was her touch fiery and burned to your core? Did it leave a scar when she touched you?
Can we just note in passing that this would be incest? Like,
Not in
not
that way. I'm talking about like she slapped me.
Okay, cool. There we go.
See, my first thought went to, it was a hug. She does like you.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't when she was the queen. It was something that we did when we were little. And it was like one of those like little child memories. And it was that she had a captain of the guard before me when I was still in training. And she had the captain make a sword with the intention that it was supposed to go to her, but then she gave it to me.
Okay.
So it was one of those moments where before she got up, we were friends.
Ah.
It's one of those like rare moments.
Do you still have the sword?
Yes. It is the one I currently fight with.
Oh.
So was it too big for you at the time?
Yes.
Does like you.
They were very confused about why she wanted a broad sword. But you do what the princess asks.
Okay, so it sounds like for a while the whole "oh yes, your half sister will give her life for you" was real and was true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Oh,
When
that's
did
so
it stop
good.
being true?
When she killed my mom.
When did that happen?
I'm assuming that happened before your character was born. But like shortly after she became queen.
Okay.
Was it before she was pregnant?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think it was one of those, well, now that I'm the queen and I have my king, I don't want there to be any remnants of what my father did to mess up. Kind of thing.
Fair. All right.
I wonder why I'm still here.
What did I bring with me that endangers the queen?
Kim's grimoire.
Him.
Niffer.
This is all a disaster. Oh god.
What did I bring with me that endangers the queen? You know what? That book she threw in the fire, there was a second copy.
Oh.
And I brought it with me because I was curious as to what the hell made her so mad. But it's with me. And so there's something in there that may not be to her advantage.
Ooh.
Found it yet? Or are you still looking
I'm
for
still
it?
reading. It's a very big book.
True.
It's gonna take me a while.
To get through.
And I haven't like come across anything that, like I'm in the section where I think she was, like based on how many pages, but there's a lot and it's kind of dense. It's like little teeny weeny writing and yeah.
What is the title of the book?
A History of the War. Yes, it's
The
very,
War.
very, very evocative title.
Interesting.
All right, Niffer.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is awkward. The queen had you punished once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever?
That I disobeyed my mama.
Oh, what did you do, young lady?
I wandered off when I wasn't supposed to, and that was when I met that lovely boy back home. I wandered into the village instead of staying in the castle and around the castle grounds, and I got to see like a normal life that wasn't callous and it wasn't intrigue and it wasn't always having to look over your shoulder, and it was idyllic and kind and nice, and I thought I liked it. But then Mama got very paranoid and she was very concerned and worried, and so she told me never to do it again.
And have you?
Who helps you sneak around?
Ooh.
I think after you have showed a couple of kindnesses to me, I ask you.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, because like my brain just went, good auntie, cool auntie.
Be the cool auntie.
Be the cool auntie.
It's a few different people to cover tracks, and so that nobody can report back on me of like, she does this every Wednesday. But no.
Yeah, but do you want a bunch of people know when you're doing that, or do you want one person so that you know that if you get snitched out, you know who did it?
If I get snitched out of repeatedly doing something, then it's a big problem. If it's I did it one more time, it's not as big a problem.
Oh, you like did it one more time? Oh, I see what you're saying. So if everybody else only thinks, oh, I'm helping you this one time. Smart.
Yes.
Very smart.
Look, I come by my paranoia honestly.
Apparently so.
Or was it honest?
Da, da.
Yeah, you can't really say I come by paranoia honestly.
Organically, maybe.
Maybe. Biologically? Is it a hereditary thing or is it a nature versus nurture, you know?
It could be either at this
I
scale.
think it's kind of both, you know?
So, Kim, what brings out the queen's cruelty?
Oh boy.
She is getting increasingly impatient. Used to be she'd be willing to like lay long-term plans and wait and do things and take things a little bit slowly and a little more carefully and that sort of thing. But as the years have gone on and the war has progressed and all this stuff, I think she's become increasingly impatient. And these days, she is increasingly willing to take a faster route, even if it causes collateral damage. And she doesn't seem to like, she thinks that the said collateral damage is worthwhile at this point and she can justify it, but like, is it really? I mean, I don't think so, but I'm not going to say anything to her about it. Oh, Misha, I can't hear you.
Oh, because off with her head and all that?
Yeah.
Little things, you know. Is there any incident in particular that makes you fear for yourself?
Not for me necessarily, but this is one of those incidences where someone was like kind of rude to me and I didn't necessarily notice or didn't necessarily care. Like, it was one of those like minor irritations. I have other things to do. I'm not going to worry about it. But she overheard and was like incredibly cutting and essentially ruined this person like in front of everyone, sort of thing, right? Like, just clearly made it shown that this person had their disfavor. And when I brought it up to her later, it's like, she's like, oh, well, I need you to be like respected and because I need you to do all this work for me. And so if you're dealing with all these petty things, then you can't do that, right? Like that was her justification for it. But it's made me really aware that I can hurt people through her, and that makes me really uncomfortable. Because I don't want to do that.
Do you fear retaliation from the person's family?
No, because the idea that anyone would be able to get past whatever the queen has set up, it just is not something that I could ever possibly believe. Right? Like, I'm so close to the queen, like to get at me, you would almost have to get her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's possible. So
Interesting.
Whether I'm right or not is like, I don't know.
But you clearly have like a hero worship of the queen in that oh, I'm safe because I'm next to her. Yes.
But also, like, she's turning into someone that I'm afraid for who she will become.
Going down a path I can't follow. Sorry.
A little bit. Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Had to go Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to write this story now.
Right? Oh, God.
Right?
It's so good.
We're not helping. All right.
You are. You're writing the story for me.
Haley, darling.
Yes.
There is someone else in this retinue you love besides the queen. How and why are you keeping it a secret?
I mean,
The retinue is only the 4 of us and the queen, right?
Yep.
Oh, crap.
I mean, you do seem to care a lot
Yeah.
about
It's
Nif's character.
I was gonna say it's not any kind of like romantic love, but I think Niffer's character is like the one that I have the most affection for.
Why are you keeping it a secret?
Because I don't want the queen to like completely separate us. Which part of me feels like that's what my character thinks is why we're taking the princess with me, is I've messed up. She's sending the princess away so that I can't spend time with her.
I mean, on the one hand, that makes me play Years of Eight in my head. On the other hand, it's very sweet.
I think my character is very much a kicked puppy. A pit bull puppy. A kicked puppy.
Okay, the queen gave me a compliment once. What was it, and why have her words stayed with me?
You have an excellent reading voice. No.
Actually, I think it was something that was completely unrelated to my work as a librarian, which is why it stuck with me.
Do you dance?
Okay, the player or the character?
Yes.
Yes.
The player does not dance. The player has 3 left feet.
That's a skill.
Right? I'm pretty impressive. I think I had tried something different with my outfit.
Ooh.
And the queen liked it and copied it the next day.
Oh, trendsetter.
Which
Right?
means that Kim's
Now I want to know what it was.
like a week later. Right?
Okay, so I'm going to steal something from a book I read forever ago. It was in the court of Queen Elizabeth. One of her ladies in waiting dyed her ruff.
Oh,
the ruff, yeah, and so the queen's, so everybody else is wearing. This is during a time of mourning, and everybody else is wearing, white ruffs and black clothes because they're and so she shows up in this mauve ruff because mauve is a perfectly acceptable mourning color, but she doesn't look like everybody else now. And so I'm going to steal that and say, yeah, I dyed the veil that so the queen has set the fashion of wearing these veils, and so I dyed my veil a color that was not one of the standard ones that we see around the parts here. It's something bolder and like maybe a bright cobalty blue somehow, and she thought it was cool.
Ooh. What made you decide to do that?
Truthfully, my veil fell in this bowl of dye, and I didn't have another one. I didn't really have much of a choice because it was like either show up without a veil, which would have been a really or wear a blue one.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You're a librarian. Like, what if you dropped it into like this expensive iridescent ink?
I love it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and so now it's a shimmery kind of.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Alrighty. So, Niffer, what makes the queen beautiful in your eyes?
Ooh. I mean, well, she's my mom, so of course I think she's beautiful.
Innocent.
I know. I think that's so.
No, honestly, this is what I have been typecast in all my theater productions for years, as just like the dumb, oh, bless your heart, girl.
I'm gonna teach you about Monster Hearts, and you're gonna have some fun.
Okay. I I don't know. Besides she's beautiful and like, physically, like, she's, the best and stuff. She is, because she's been, encouraging me to look inwards towards like what qualities are beautiful about a person rather than like appearance. She is, she was wise and cautious ruler, but that's kind of been declining a little bit. She's been getting a little bit more paranoid, but she uh, cares for people and for her subjects, and um, she's like super powerful and stuff, and she's cool. Yeah, personality wise, she's beautiful, or at least was before all of this intrigue.
You're insecure. Don't know what for.
I love it. What else?
So you're gonna have to answer something other than I beg the queen. What do you do that pleases the queen on this journey? Like you said, it's too easy.
I am trying.
Call Alex, okay?
I've already messaged her on Twitter. I'm like, look, I feel called out here.
You can pass.
So no, oh God. Actually, you know what? Yes, I want to see if Bailey wants to answer this question.
No. I was trying to give options. By the way, just quick clarification. Do we have to pass it in the circle or can we pass it to anybody?
That's a good
what?
thought.
Technically, it's passing in the circle, but if there's somebody you want to see the answer to, I will allow it.
Yeah, just convince the rest of the table to all pass until it gets to that person.
No, I mean, Bailey, you can pass if you want to, but this is the sort of like complicated relationship crap that I live for.
Can more than one of us answer?
Sure. Do you have an answer you want to give?
No, I want to hear you guys.
So you know all of them executions you were talking about, and rumors and stuff. People don't always pay attention when I'm in the room. So a lot of the time, if I hear things, sometimes I might pass stuff off. Sometimes I may take somebody to the back of the shed. And they don't come back.
Oh,
Look at the field of flowers.
Oh my!
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Count the stars, Lenny.
Yeah.
Oh my! That's fascinating and horrifying.
That's so good. Like, I hate this woman, but I'll kill for her. What? What?
I mean, a lot of it is me trying to protect Niffer's character, so it was like, especially when all the rumors and stuff were going around, a lot of the worst ones didn't even make it to the queen because I just
Okay.
Story checks.
Okay, so like, has she sent you off on this journey to like scout ahead to deal with issues that you've just been like, and then I just kill them at the end, and then you come back and no one talks about it?
Maybe not on this particular journey, but there have been.
Okay.
Just, hey, there's a person. Gotcha.
Does she even have to tell you anymore, or does she just mention a name?
It's not necessarily, because there was an oopsie doodle where we were still in the process, and she's like, I really don't like, got it. No. But there's a letterbox in my room that only I have the key to. And when there's somebody that needs to go away, she drops a name in the letterbox.
Clever.
Has anybody ever misused that letterbox?
I feel like my character doesn't think that anybody else knows about the letterbox, specifically because it's something that she kind of like hides. But again, she doesn't like politicians. So, and I feel like at this point she knows her sister's handwriting. So, like, if she got a
So it
letter,
has to be a really good forgery, is what I'm saying.
yeah, it would like 16 and up.
Hey, librarian, how good's your forgery?
Yeah, like, look, I'm pretty close to my mom. We all have motivation here.
Just saying. Just a question.
Yeah, I feel like if there was like one kind of greasy old dude that tried it once and then his name ended up in the letterbox.
Are you going to tell me about the letterbox?
When you are queen.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'll be a kingdom away.
Such a good answer.
Sorry.
Such a good answer.
Oh. That's fascinating. All right. So, I have a personal connection to the land we are currently traveling through. What makes me want to stay and why don't I?
Ooh. Y'all got a boyfriend?
Yeah.
I think it's even simpler than that. I think the part of this kind of like border territory we're in now is where I'm from. And so like this is where I grew up. This is, I didn't grow up in the keep with you. Well, I am a librarian. I grew up in, you see that monastery looking thingy up there. It's not really a monastery because anybody can go and learn, but that's where I grew up. It's not with the royal people, is with the books and.
So how'd you end up in the palace?
Because it's boring, and I wanted to see something bigger, and that's why I also don't want to stay. Because it's cool, and I liked it, and it was a lot simpler then, but it was also super boring because there's only, yes, you can read forever, and often I do, but that doesn't mean you want to do it 24/7. And sometimes you want to see people and ride. Donkeys. That's what these are. And wear pretty dresses and not like homespun scratchy stuff because nobody else ever thinks about making nicer fabric, because why would you make nicer stuff when you could read? And yeah.
I'm going to take all of my energy that I've been pouring towards Niffer's character, and now I must protect the cinnamon bun.
I have achieved cinnamon bun.
I support this decision.
I'm really bad about that with my characters. Like, that's how my GMs get me the most, where they're like, let me show you the cinnamon bun, and then my entire world revolves around them. In the Mask game, it's a professional wrestler. He's a superhero, but he is cinnamon bun. He's so pretty.
It's fair. It's totally fair. It's a weakness.
It is.
It's an adorable weakness.
All right. Oh, Niffer, this is an interesting one.
Oh, no.
What did you bring with you to protect the queen?
I brought these daggers.
Well, you see, I got these knives. The knife fairy brought them.
We call
I broke the GM. Oh my gosh, I just thought of your character doing the meme. What have you got there? A knife? No!
My friends send that to me about on a weekly basis, so we're doing it right.
We use that one in Masks quite a bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. These knives that I have been experimenting with, maybe trying to learn, mostly just kind of like putting them on, being like, yeah, now I look more intimidating. This is gonna be good. But also maybe like latent foresight. because I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing with it, but maybe every once in a while I get these feelings of maybe I did get my mama's abilities. Maybe that's why I tripped to save my mama. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. So I have a suspicion.
I really want to ask this question of Kim's character too.
Oh, what did you bring with you to protect the queen?
Finally, something she can't answer with her default.
Well,
I'm trying so hard. I'm working really hard not to be like, I'm just banging her. That's all I do.
You're the arm candy. That's it.
you will like this one then, Kim.
It's so pretty.
You arranged for the queen to be ambushed on the journey. What did they offer you?
Oh, it's so good. Oh. Okay.
Girl.
What is the price of your betrayal?
Okay. So, you know how I've been going on about how I think that power has been corrupting her and turning her into a woman that I don't think she should be, and this sort of thing? Right. So, I have decided that I have to essentially save her from herself, sort of thing. Right?
Yes.
So, I think what's going to happen is that we're going on this trip, and I'm the one who has arranged Niffer's marriage thing.
What? Okay.
Your stepmama selling you down the river.
Yes, because then the kingdoms can be united, and then you two can rule it, and then the queen can abdicate, is what I'm thinking. So I have arranged, like I've been secretly negotiating essentially sort of like a retirement home, like land or whatever for the queen, like just essentially a space where she can like still have land power, this sort of thing, but like be somewhere else and safe and whatever, right? So like I've essentially negotiated this whole like, or secretly been negotiating this like whole giant land deal off to the side or whatever, right? But again, solid C student. So, even though the queen has been keeping like this whole journey thing really secret sort of thing, I've been in touch with like Arrow and this sort of thing, which means they know where we are. So it's not so much that I arranged for her to be ambushed so much as it's an inevitability because I'm a solid C student.
You've been constantly writing everybody very public letters.
Well, and so like I'm not great at this. I'm just not.
Can I just say I love the difference between your thought process and mine, because my first thought was the queen is going to be ambushed by puppies and it's going to be adorable.
Bless your heart.
Look, I play characters very similar to myself, apparently.
So do I, which is telling. I'm just saying.
Which is why I said, Kim, you must play this with me.
In the last game we played, and I dangled the king over a cliff. So that happened.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do for your woman.
You gotta.
Yeah, pretty much.
You gotta.
He needed to be on the throne, so she had dangled the king off the cliff.
By the way, where is the king in all of this?
Dead.
Okay, we've established your dad's dead too. Cool.
Long time ago, like shortly after my birth.
Yep.
Just secured the air. That's all she needed.
Single mother. She's great.
Single mother. Kim, how long has your character been with her?
I mean, we're not officially together or anything. Are we even monogamous? I don't even know. I mean, I am. I'm like a little too obsessed not to be monogamous.
You're a chihuahua.
I'm a chihuahua.
We have a chihuahua, a cinnamon roll, and just...
And bless your heart.
And bless your heart.
And no more knives.
And no more knives.
No knives for you.
You're just like a
what, 10-pound bag of baggage in a 3-pound bag. It's just
10 pounds of baggage in a 3-pound sack.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that describes our entire story right here.
So, Bailey,
Yes.
what promise did the queen make to you before this journey? And
That once it's done, I can retire.
do you think she'll keep it?
No.
She won't let
No.
you retire?
No, because she knows that if I retire, I'm just gonna move to wherever Niffer is.
Oh.
I won't be there, but I like this one. And I don't really have any other attachments because it's very difficult to get people to like you when you're constantly carrying a giant sword.
Been there. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of baggage, apparently.
Well, you know, swords are interesting.
Everybody.
There's a whole everybody who doesn't like a good sword.
Apparently not the other librarian.
Well, only because you kept waving it at him.
I'm just saying, it's a really cool sword.
Swords are awesome. I'm about ready to pull mine out right now.
This is the only one I have. It's a pen. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, I keep all of my coolest stuff right behind my computer so that
So you can fidget with it.
It makes sense. I mean, that's where I keep my tiara. Or at least that's where I keep one of my tiaras.
Keep that on. Keep that on.
Keep it on. Keep it on. You're the queen.
No, because I have better ones upstairs. I almost wore. I considered wearing one, but
And you didn't?
I considered. I was.
It's called for
My
the
hair
queen.
wasn't doing quite right for it.
We all should have been wearing tiaras. This is called for the queen.
I don't have one anymore.
This is very true.
No, I do have one. I have the one that my kids made me for Valentine's Day at work.
Next
It's literally that crinkly border stuff you put on bulletin boards in a circle with a heart stapled right on the forehead.
we just have to play again so that we can all wear our crowns.
There you go.
Agreed.
We'll have to arrange it. Alrighty. Okay. The queen sometimes shows interest in my personal life, and how do I respond to that? And why? Wow.
That's also a good look, Kim.
I don't have tiara. This is what I got.
It's a perfectly acceptable look.
I love it.
I'm worried that you're going to strap me into a chair with the...
Somehow she seems to always ask the day after I've like left the keep. Like if I leave the palace and like go do something and then come back, I'm never like gone for more than like, a couple hours at a time, but she always seems to know, and she always seems to ask where I've been, which is a little creepy because it's not like I'm advertising, and I'm like, I'm not important enough that this should even come anywhere near her radar, but she always seems to know, and I always answer her, of course, because she's a queen, and if your queen asks you a question, you answer. But it's a little creepy, and I'm not sure how I like it, and it's awkward.
She has foresight. I'm telling you.
I know it's
She
a
knows
little.
things.
Is it usually when you're going to go do something that involves the second copy of the book?
No, it's just like whenever I leave the palace, she seems to know.
What kind of personal life do you have? Is there a significant other?
No, not really. It's like I go, I feel like going out and having a drink at the tavern, or I'm gonna go get lunch at like, over there, or it's not even that I'm doing anything particularly interesting to anybody. It's not, I'm not like sneaking around or anything. It's just, I just feel like leaving the palace today, kind of thing. And
That must be nice.
Yeah.
oh wait, I know about you, Missy.
Do you?
She's only asked me to cover up for it once.
It was the one time, I swear.
just the one. So I know you've left the palace at least twice.
I feel like I'm in the background just going, wait a minute.
So, Niffer,
Yeah.
what part of this journey will be the most difficult? And how do you pull the rest of the retinue through it?
Ooh.
Well, if my growing suspicions are correct, I believe the destination is going to be the most difficult part for me. I believe that we are going for negotiations, but if there is perchance an arrangement at the end, I don't know how I would get through it. I would be very sad to leave my mother and to leave my country, and I don't know what would happen to the rest of our group if we would go our separate ways, or if we would just leave me and the rest of you would go back and stay together. I really don't know.
That's fair. What is your biggest fear about being left in the strange country
In
without
Arrow
anybody else that you know?
would be different than everything I've ever known. It would be leaving behind all familiarity, and also like the one person who like has stuff in common with me, like my mom. She, you know, if I end up sharing her abilities, she would be the one that I would want to go to talk to about it, of like, how do you handle things, how do you do our innate magic or whatever, things like that. So that would be kind of hard and confusing without having someone to talk to about it.
If your mother allowed it, would you keep somebody from the retinue?
And who?
I mean,
Keep Kim. Mom has to come and visit.
Oh yeah, if you keep Kim, Mom will come and visit.
Well,
and that would be a good way to punish Kim if you knew that she was the one that arranged your marriage.
Except that Bailey would stab me in the head.
I wouldn't stab you. I would just be sad.
She'd be like, "You don't want me? Like what?" It would just be this.
No, I'd just go get drunk in the tavern with the librarian and be sad.
No, I would. Bailey's character has shown a lot of kindness, and so I would probably say either her or the librarian, just because the librarian I would also trust to know things. And if I am to be left alone in a country where I don't know any things, probably having a master researcher would be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could just like smuggle all of you back.
That's the true secret. The queen's tired of all of us.
Yeah, this is an all I'm retiring you all party.
Alrighty, Kim. This one looks like a tough one.
Oh no.
Ooh.
The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who and what happened?
Can't bump this. The answer is like
No, right?
Bailey takes it. It's like super obvious. Oh, fuck.
Bump it further. Bump it to Misha.
Please remember, we have to keep it PG-13. It's like the third time. We're running out.
You know what? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to pass it on.
All right. So, Bailey. The queen is responsible. Well, we already know she killed your mom.
Come on.
Pass
it to Misha.
Who else?
I was going to say, do you want me to pass it? Or do you want me to tell you about why I don't have a significant other?
Oh, that sounds fascinating. Tell us more.
So, we talked about wanting the retirement for when I get out of here.
Uh-huh.
This is not the first time that I asked for it.
Oh.
The first time it was so that I could go and be with this other guard that was in the group. But he wasn't like above or below me. He was just kind of like the king's version.
Oh.
and it would have created an issue with just like who technically outranks who. And rather than like being like, okay, well, now you both have to like try to compete, I was gonna step down. But apparently the queen didn't like that idea and just had him taken out.
Okay then. So she wanted you to stay so badly that she killed her husband's bodyguard so that you would stay.
Mm-hmm.
Which left, I assume, a hole in her husband's bodyguard. Is this how soon close to his dad, the king's death was this gap?
Not enough in a way that I could prove it.
Fascinating, Captain.
Puppy dog, stop that.
All right. Anyone else?
Did you ever find out who killed your significant other? Like, who was good enough to take this guy out?
I mean, I'm assuming you didn't find his name in a box.
No, I did not find his name in the box.
Oh, that would be so sad.
Right?
He died of a mysterious illness.
Ooh.
So I have a suspicion that I believe that the queen did it directly herself. She didn't hire anyone else.
Hands-on approach. Interesting.
So do you think it was poison, or do you think it was just the mysterious illness was magic?
I believe it is magic, which is what has fueled my extreme distrust of magic.
Ah, most excellent.
But I can't prove it.
All right. So, this is the final card. Well, it's not the final card. There's some more cards that didn't get drawn, but this is the card that is the last card that will be drawn. The queen is under attack. Do you defend her? This is a question that we all answer in turn. Since I drew it, I start. Do I defend her? I'm going to say yes, because at this point, I don't have enough proof that she's not what she appears to be, which is, a loving, kind ruler. And so, yes, of course I'm going to defend her when she's attacked. How about you, Niffer?
Of course. That's it. No question. Of course. She's my mother. She's the queen.
With your 3 knives.
Yeah.
Just holding it like Wolverine. I don't know what I'm doing.
Not how you hold a knife.
Honey, we went over this. The pointy part goes in them. Don't hold the sharp part.
Kim?
Yes, I absolutely do. I did not sign on for this attack. Clearly, my plans have been betrayed.
Bailey?
No. Because I'm going to be getting Niffer out of there.
That's totally fair. Story check.
I love that phrase.
Yeah, story check. Cool. Well, that is for the queen. We can do a quick epilogue each. So we've been attacked. Bailey makes off with Niffer's character.
Niffer I think Niffer should throw a knife, and I think it should hit. I think this should be like.
Am I gonna be good at something?
Like you're accidentally, like you throw it, like you're trying. You're like just and it just.
But here's the question: so it hits, but who does it hit?
Roll a dice.
Does it hit the attacker you were aiming for, or does it miss the attacker but hit your mother?
Said I was aiming for the attacker. No.
That's what I'm saying. You were aiming for the attacker. Good. Oh, yes. Who says you were aiming?
He says I was aiming for the attacker.
Ooh.
Oh.
I
Well, you did say you defended her, so like.
Or not look like accidents.
She is very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite an accomplished actress. Have I really been this dumb this whole time? Have
Who
I?
knows?
You realize at that point that if that's the case, my character's just going to yeet you. She's not innocent.
What do you mean she's not the cinnamon roll?
This is a devil food cake.
Sorry, I'm just imagining you picking it up and going, wait, this is plastic.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this game.
This is great. We need to do this again.
I'm gonna have to buy a copy of this.
It's yeah. So you can buy a copy your local game store. Like I picked up my copy earlier today at Canton Games in wonderful Baltimore, Maryland. But also yeah, you can get the Eagle Hat store. They have it for sale there. You can buy the Roll20 overlay, which contains all the cards and all the fun stuff. Or you can go and pick it up at your next con or something. I'm sure somebody will be hearing it. Looks like we have raised, or at least the number has changed since we started to now. When we started, we were at like 400 and something, and now we're at 734.95.
Yeah.
So thank you for all the lovely people who donated to Girls Inc. It's a wonderful cause. Mentoring women is always a priority of mine. If we can get to 1,000 before the end of the month, that'll be awesome. It's not a big number, so if you got some coin and you got time, pop it in there. Thank you, Roll4Change, for giving us this opportunity to play and have a giggly good time, full of romance and intrigue and cinnamon rolledness and buns and stuff.
And devil food cake, apparently.
and devil food cake, apparently.
No, you're not a devil food cake. You're cinnamon bun with raisins.
Oh, that look like chocolate chips. Betrayal.
That's the real betrayal here.
Yeah, right.
I like raisins and things.
I do too, but like if you bite into a cookie, you think it's chocolate chip, and it's raisins instead. You're just a little disappointed.
A little
You
bit.
die a little inside.
Like, I wanted chocolate, and I got raisins, and raisins are fine. This is like my theory about at what point mac and cheese stops being mac and cheese and starts being a casserole, and if you continue to call it mac and cheese after you've added far too many ingredients, it is no longer mac and cheese. And casseroles are fine. If you tell me I'm eating a casserole, that's fine. But if you tell me I'm going to be eating mac and cheese and you put Brussels sprouts in it, I'm going to be
That's unacceptable.
I'm going to be pissed because that is no longer mac and cheese. That is now a casserole.
I mean, I think I draw the line at bacon. I feel like anything other than bacon and it's no longer mac and cheese.
See, I can go for like one additional ingredient, like mac and cheese plus like lobster mac and cheese. We can go. We can do like a bacon mac and cheese. You can even do, sure, you can add peas to your mac and cheese. But if you add more than one thing, you're no longer at mac and cheese. You're at like casserole. It's just not acceptable.
Did you see the message in the Discord?
So I've been informed that over the lifetime of Roll4Change, we've raised over $10,000. So hey, what's 1,000 more? Come on, it's not even. It's a little bit more than 250. We can get more than 250 and get 1,000 before the end of that. We
Give us the money, so
I have confidence in this. So if you liked us, if you liked hearing us, give a little, so we can come back next year and do it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm Misha B. I can be found at blackgirlgameworks.com or BGGameworks on Twitter. I've had a blast running this for facilitating. I can say that word. Facilitating this for everybody. Niffer, you want to give us where we can find you in the world outside of?
Yeah, I'm at almost all places as at Niffer, Niff, and that's basically all I do. I'm not really like on streams or anything unless I get invited back, because this was super fun. This is an amazing, fun time to play this game. It was really fun. Thank you. And yeah.
Kim, where can we find you?
I'm currently on Twitter at Lady Lakira, and I'm still trying to find my online home after G+ died.
I know.
Oh gosh. But yeah, that's probably the easiest place to find me right now.
How about you, Bailey?
I'm Bailey. You can find me at Ironic Adventures on Twitter. You can also find me once a month on the Generation Justice fate-based game from SHU, and occasionally when Nick decides I'm allowed to play again on the Roll4Change. You will have to forcibly remove me. The only time I will not be on a stream is I think our next one is going to be non-binary. Does not apply. So will not be taking spots.
Well, cool. Well, then with that, we're going to say goodnight. Have fun. Thank you, Alex. This is a wonderful game. Everybody should go and play it and buy it. And I don't know how to make this stop, so I'm going to trust that whoever is behind the scenes.
Nick, make it stop.